There's a bing, and that means we're live, and it's EuroScrum, and it's Sam and Thomas and Dan with me here at Makers Academy. It is the first EuroScrum of September 1st. Ooh, I'm not sure what that means, but anyway. Yes, and so what we usually do in the scrums, that is Dan's first scrum, is we go and review the, what I usually have to remember to do, and this is something that would be nice to automate, is I will start the screen share up so we can see the list of members. Like so, and then I go through, and so for example, we'll say in the first instance we've got Thomas. Yeah, how are things with you, Thomas?
Thank you, just fine. I had a great weekend. In terms of my engagement in different projects, I solved a small bug. We had some deployment problems, issues with Travis, and some code was not being pushed out. Deployed, so for some reason I had to rerun Travis 3 or 4 times before he pushed everything out to development. But now we have on the develop server we do have the user filtering functionality that we implemented last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So someone has our code name for this Adventure site itself. Yeah. Okay, is that worth looking at all?
Well, you know, it's nothing too super fancy, but you know, it will make your job easier, I think, when you scroll for members when you hold scrums.
Yeah.
If you want, you can go to website one develop. And have a look at it.
Up in the background there. Yeah, so what I normally do is I'm going through the members and I'm grabbing, like, bring up the profile of each individual person so people know who we're talking about. But yeah, so nothing blocking you then, particularly, Tom?
Well, we have a lot of stories that are in the pipeline, you know, waited to be pushed out to staging and you know, so we can present them for you as a client, you know, so you can accept them or reject them. Sure. But there are some blockers there. But this is something that I need to work out with Brian, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So here's the functionality. So you can search for first name, last name. You can search for a country as well. You know, basically you can do anything there.
Awesome. Yeah, that looks perfect.
But this is one of the functions that we want to push out to production as soon as possible. But we need to get some other things sorted out first before we can make those pull requests to staging server.
I mean, as regard the things that are potentially blocking you, I mean, is there anything that's worth reviewing that we might give you input?
No, not at this moment.
Stuff to get done.
Yeah, it's me and Brian basically need to get together and you know, make some decisions.
Sure.
And there are small things that we need to fix in some commits, but other than that, that buck is on me and Brian, basically.
Sure. Okay.
So apart from that, I had a Cordelia reboot meeting yesterday, and Sampriti was there, and Christian was there, and me and Christian had a long discussion. I mean, Sampriti is a member of that team, and he's interested in putting in some hours. You know, but he has his midterms coming up, so he won't be around for another month. But me and Christian agreed that we will start slowly, you know, to do some stuff, and I have an opportunity to start a course in October or November here in Gothenburg, together with an organization here in Gothenburg. So perhaps, you know, if we have something done by then, at least if we have 3 workshops designed, I can deliver them to a group of kids, and that will be interesting. Unfortunately, Hatch Academy and you know, those people in Houston, they are out of business now. So and we're trying to re-establish some contact with Luhinda.
I was going to ask,
yeah.
Fine.
But we haven't come so far yet, and I wanted to have this reboot meeting first to see if we can, you know, if we can spark any interest in our own ranks before we contact any stakeholder.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Good
so this will, I mean, we will work on it. I don't think we can pick up any significant pace, you know, on this, but we're not ready to give it up. I think it's an interesting project, and I'm willing to invest some time in this.
Sure.
And Christian said that he can commit himself to this, and hopefully we can get some other people around, you know, to work on it. And your T-shirt will be ordered today, and you'll have it in.
Much appreciated.
Rather soon, I think.
I've been eagerly awaiting that. I could indicate a fun campaign. Anyway, cool. And so, what are your plans going forward, Thomas?
Well, not much today, but on Wednesday we're going to have a dev meeting again with website 1, and hopefully we can work through those stories that you prioritized in the last meeting we had.
What time will that be on Wednesday?
1800 UTC.
Okay.
In conjunction with the Americas or Scrum, is it?
Okay.
Americas?
Yeah.
So we need to set some acceptance criteria and estimate those stories, and then we can start working on them. I guess.
Okay, sounds good.
Me and Brian we feel that we need to take a tighter grip on you know what stories we work on, and also we need to clarify the acceptance criteria very tightly, so everybody knows what they're supposed to do. Sure. We feel that sometimes the pull requests and have been going out of scope, and we need to. Yeah.
Sure. No problem. Okay.
So that's all from me, I guess.
Excellent. I'll just me. I basically having finished all the edits for the Once It's Signed textbook on Friday. Weekend was off and was good, and unfortunately I managed to bust up my knee, but hey. These things happen. And so now
you need to be careful, brother.
I do. I need to. It's an object lesson in knowing my limits. I really. Anyhow.
Sam, we are software developers. This is not a high risk
profession.
No.
I have children. That's the high risk thing in my life, really. But I'm in here. Makers. I'm on full time. Basically, we just had a meeting with the CEO. We're talking about the high level project code in Ronin, which is to do an online version of Makers. And as we talked about before, we want to get Agile Ventures involved in that. I think particularly Thomas, as you and I were talking about. There are these different online offerings, including the one that's going to come from Makers. Agile Ventures provides something that is kind of like an ongoing, lifelong learning thing of being involved in sort of charitable projects and coding and meeting up with coders. And I think that's going to be an important part of that system. So I think, the thing for me now is I think next up, Dan and I are going to be brainstorming on.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. If I just can a quick comment, is there any way that we, you and I, or you perhaps, could have a look at the curriculum you guys are going through, and we can map some of the stories in some of our projects, like Website 1 or Ostra or something, that when your students are going through, something in Rails like Active Record or something, so we can say that, hey, in order to practice that particular skill, you can take on a story in an Agile Venture project.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and that's something I did a little bit of in that previous cohort, the May cohort that I was in, and I think the challenge with that is kind of having a handle on the open stories as they come up. Like in the ideal world, what one would have is, like you'd have like the curriculum and almost dynamically loaded for this, thing, active records, validations or whatever. There would be an ongoing like pool of here are open source project related stories that are going to involve this. I think doing that is potentially challenging in terms of making sure that stories are marked up in terms of having that association, and also the fact that as stories come in, it's not necessarily clear at the beginning until you've started working on them what sort of things you actually need. But I think we would like to do that. Actually, just in the comments from one of the Maker students was, are there not some more charitable projects that we can get involved in? I think, providing that kind of linkage. So, here are examples. The simple low-hanging fruit there might be just that for stories that have already been completed. So you can so here are examples of these validations being used in the wild in the context of these open source projects. There's definitely it's a good idea. I think we want to do something like that.
And try to push out the Cordelia project. Perhaps there are some students in the Makers Academy
there's
sphere that would be interested in that.
Female programmers, and so Cordelia is all about trying to make programming more attractive to young female coders. So yes, we'll certainly see what we can do there. Yeah, and that's. I'm going to start, I guess, doing various kinds of scaffolded pairing and so on. Also, we've also got our kind of key customer is Rico. It's called Rico from now because I was confused. But Rico is the one who runs the course here, and he really wants automation for the grading of, or the marking, as it were, of the weekly challenges and other tests that we do here. And that's something that we do have. We have an autograder framework from 169, although it's a bit crafty. But I think some sort of there's kind of a strong overlap there. I mean, the two Agile Ventures projects that I'm continuing to, be the project manager of are the autograder project and the local support project. But so my other plan this week is to try and get local support client meeting set up and get that underway. I don't know. I mean, Marion has got a job. Most of the people who've been working on local support now have got jobs, which is great. But we could do with some local support coders if we're going to make any progress there. We'll see how that goes. But I mean, that's I've got Thursday or Friday will be the local support client meeting, and probably the autograder client meeting is going to be on Wednesday. But that's it from me. I think no particular blog. I just sort of get it all sorted out. Dan, any thoughts, or I mean, obviously we've introduced you to Thomas. The thing that we often do in Scrum is what have you been doing? Is there anything blocking you, and what are you planning to work on?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a list of things here. So basically, what I've been working on, sort of on the sidelines, other than working on the website stuff for Makers Academy, is basically trying to make. I kind of have my product manager head on a little bit, right. with in terms of Ronan, rather than coding.
Sure.
Start that. Thinking, ideas of features. So I've got a whole list of like 12 different features that we could maybe consider and talk about, and decide which ones we want to keep, which ones are overcomplicated to begin with, and also assumptions that I would like to test. So, like there's been a lot of talk about getting people working socially as part of a larger group and meeting them up 2 or 3 times a week. That's an assumption. Do people actually want that? Will they make use of it?
Will they pay extra for it?
Will they pay extra for it?
Is it more trouble than it's worth?
Exactly. So I've basically just got a whole list of things that I want to try and come up with experiments for.
Try and assess.
Try and assess to get our failures out of the way as quickly as possible.
That sounds good. Yeah. Well, I guess
Dan, a question, Dan. In terms of development, are you a back-end or front-end or full-stack developer?
As full stack as you can be after 12 weeks of learning, basically. I mean,
you graduated though 12 weeks ago.
I graduated 12 weeks ago.
So you've been coding for 6 months now.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so it's Dan's done the full. So the Makers Academy thing gives you a full stack experience. Yeah. I mean, at the moment, Dan's been doing a lot of stuff. The front-end design on the website and playing with CSS, but you're certainly familiar with it.
Okay, because the reason I'm asking is that we're going to do some redesigns of the flow of how we present projects and stuff in website 1, which is the agileVentures.org site. And I'm just in the lookout for people that have an eye for front end and good UX basically.
I mean, that's the interesting thing here. Interesting overlap that we've got. So this is we have this project list which is a bit higgledy-piggledy at the moment, but we have there's kind of all sorts of overlap. One of the things that I think everybody agrees about an important part of the Makers face-to-face course is the final project, and that's something we also want to have online. I get the sense is that the Makers students here, at least face-to-face, they want to kind of do their own new projects. They're not necessarily so interested in their final project being working on an existing project.
Well, you as a teacher can always tell them that working on legacy code is a good thing. But
I think what's happened is what I've done when I've worked with students here is that they're very interested to see working on some legacy code, and they're very interested to pair with me on legacy coding. But then when it comes to a team of them, almost they've got an opportunity for a 2-week project. They want to do kind of like a greenfield thing, and sort of particularly I think for people coming into Makers who haven't had coding experience before, they want to try out their pet ideas.
Gotcha.
That said, this whole support of Final Project and allowing people to get together and start projects, that's part of the functionality here. We have it set up so anybody can create a new project. A number of the people who've been involved with me in the MOOC, so I kind of manage an online community of instructors who are using the MOOC teaching materials in their classroom, which is a very similar curriculum to the Academy. They're starting to say to me that they want their students to be able to get involved in these projects. There's kind of I think that there's a sweet spot between all of the different things that are going on, is that I think people want some sort of mechanism, more than just GitHub profiles, that they can find, you know, they can get involved in existing projects. They can propose new projects. They can kind of, there's sort of like a, you know, what's the word? The meat market. There's basically kind of like a project interface that sort of shows you what projects are going.
Almost a marketplace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah.
In which people can get together, join existing projects, start on new projects, and then just you can see which projects are hot, what's going on, and so. You know,
GitHub's just not very user friendly for that sort of thing.
No. If you're pointed to a specific thing that someone says this is a great thing to do, that's fine. But in terms of for browsing, you know what's going on, it's it can be challenging. Anyway, I think we've hit the time on the Scrum. I don't think there's anything else critical that we need to go into, Thomas.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah. So I think Dan and I are going to sit down and work some more on this. And Thomas, I'll catch up with you at a future Scrum.
Yes.
Great.
Lovely. Okay. Talk to you later, guys.
All right. Lovely to meet you.
Nice one.
Stay cool. All right. So long. Bye.